Hi everyone, I'm gonna talk about something that's really bothering me right now, which is YouTube Rewind. But even beyond YouTube Rewind, something that's bothering me with our society as a whole right now, which may seem like a leap, but trust me, I know what I'm gonna say. So, in the YouTube Rewind, you may not realize this, but during the credit sequence, there were some animators featured, Jaded Animations, Odd Ones Out, to name a couple, but they were all shoved into the credits. None of them were featured throughout the video, and it felt like a serious snub to the animation community to ask them to be involved and then shove them at the end of the video where most people are gonna click off, especially considering how many scenes didn't take place on a physical plane, and they could have inserted the animated characters in, and it would have been. There's this really weird scene where they're all flying in space and they're like they're animated people, they're live action people, but they're animated weird. And I think a big reason something like this would happen is how our society as a whole views animation as an art form. So it's really important for people to realize that animation is a medium. It's not a genre. So when you think of film or videos on YouTube, you have genres like action, comedy, horror, romance, etc. And for animation, people think of it as a genre along with action, romance, and horror instead of as another medium through which you can portray action, romance, and horror. So, for example, if you wanted to make a romantic artwork, you could do a drawing, a painting, a film, an animation. They would all be romantic. And I think that animation kind of gets this, oh, it has to be funny, it has to be story time, or it has to be whatever. And that's not what animation is. And so I think a big reason that the animators weren't included with the rest of the live action actors is that animation still hasn't gained the respect it deserves in the YouTube community and in our world as a whole, especially in the United States. It's not up to where it should be because it takes a lot longer to produce. It's a lot more grueling, and they looked fantastic. I honestly felt like they prepped to be included with the live action characters because they were doing the same dance moves, and there's this scene where they're like throwing goo and the animated characters are throwing the goo, and I'm like, just put them in there. Motion tracking has become so much easier and people love it. They eat stuff like that up. Roger Rabbit is still just like, oh, it's this masterpiece, and people love that stuff. So I think that if they're going to include animators in the future, which they absolutely should, it's a community that can't be ignored. They should incorporate it either in a segment in the video that's animated, because Lord knows they do enough transitions and they go off of the earth plane enough. They could have done one. Or they just incorporate them in with the live action actors. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I know a lot of people are angry about the actual content of YouTube Rewind and how it's really corporate and terrible, but my main beef is just how the animators just got completely snubbed in this thing, because I know that they put so much work into it, and I know that the people, even the live actors, were treated horribly, and YouTube Rewind is not my favorite anyway, so I have a pretty bad opinion of it after this year. And that's the end of my video, so thanks for viewing. Please go subscribe to all of those animators. Subscribe to anyone you want. Don't give YouTube Rewind the credit, okay? Go follow all of the great people who worked on it, who got treated like crap. But don't give YouTube the satisfaction. That's all. Bye.